Alrighty. You're ready. Okay, so I printed out your pre-conference questions, and also make sure to upload this to Eduforia. Do you know how to do that?
No.
Okay.
I was trying, but I don't know.
Yeah, you can follow me, and I'll show you where to go. So, you're gonna go to Manage Bookmarks, go to Eduforia, and then you're gonna log into Strive. And then here, you should be able to find your thing. Let me see. Mine looks different because I have different rights.
Yeah. Can I try it here?
Yes. Follow it on your. Yeah. Do it on yours. So like when you click on your name, it should give you something that looks similar to this, like a little menu, and then it should give you the ability to upload your task. So like here would be this person's goal setting. This is mid-year conference, end of year conference, upload evidence. So let's see what it looks like on yours. Okay, T-test observation. So this is probably gonna be under this one. And then this is your pre-conference. So here, you would need to attach this document. Let me see if I can figure out how to do it. It's really odd.
Yeah, it's not
like it doesn't let you click on it. Oh, let's go. Archive goals, goal setting. Let me see. So you were able to do this T-test self-assessment. Did you do your T-test self-assessment? Yes, and then your professional goal is there. Your student growth goal is there. Okay, I don't know why it's not open, but I'll follow up with Norman because she should be able to give me some feedback. So let me jot it down. And then you'll upload that because it has, like on the other one, Todd has a little plus arrow. It should have a plus arrow for that one too, but obviously it's not there for some reason. So yeah, I'll try and figure out why it's not giving me the ability. But eventually you can just upload it there. And then I'll figure out what's going on with it. Okay, no big deal. Alright, so I went through your pre-conference questions and I just jotted down some questions that I had about the information that you provided. And so really and truly, I'll just start from there. And so I think that the lesson is well laid out, like the parts that you answer for the pre-conference. I saw that you had a question at the very end about a template for your lesson plans. I printed this out, but this is the one that Miss Orcutt sent to everybody. So you should have it in email. And basically you can take your information and just plug it into this template. And I think that's this is really good because it can help you like with guiding how your lessons should flow essentially. And then also, because I'm kind of working backwards, I saw that you asked for support with scaffolding, time management, and then the mathematical aspect. And so with that part, I was wondering what your lesson preparations look like. But I'm thinking once you get this template, once you fill this out with information that you need for the flow of your lesson, then we can kind of follow up before your observation.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you check first my lesson plan before.
Yeah, because I really want to see, are you typically time stamping? That's a big one that I'm curious about. Do you timestamp how long you're leaving for each one of your components?
Yeah, but I did not have it effectively in my students since I walk around and check all their answers.
Okay, so we can figure out a way to be more efficient with that, because I think that time stamping will help you a lot with pacing, and it'll help you a lot with the management to make sure that you're getting from the beginning to the end and that it's a quality lesson. So if you could fill this out when you have time at some point and then send it to me, and then I can just give you feedback. Yeah.
Because I'm planning to use this one too.
Yes, and when would you like to do this observation? When are you planning to do this?
Can I have it on maybe December?
This one? Is that whenever this, whatchamacallit is? This lesson is planned for December?
Yeah. Because right now we are still in the banding of elections. So maybe by the end of November or maybe first week of December.
Okay. We'll see what that looks like on the planning calendar. Okay, so then with that being said, we'll jump back to the beginning. All right, so the students are balancing equations, and by this time they should already know how to identify the
symbol of the element.
And then they should already know a little bit about balancing, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay. And so then what other prerequisites should they have for this particular concept?
It should be about the bending of electrons, which we're having right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're working on the prerequisites now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so then I was curious because I looked on your part 2. So what do you expect the students to know and be able to do after the lesson? You have 3 things that you have targeted. Mm-hmm. So you have, they should be able to translate from words to equations. They should correctly balance. And then the last one,
numbers.
Synthesize the reaction and double. So there's 3 things that you're looking for. How do you determine mastery for those 3? Have you identified how you're going to assess how they master that?
Well, most of the time I have my assessment using a paper. Sometimes right now I've been trying to have it in technology, like in the Chromebook. I made Google document.
Okay. And then is it like a Google Sheet that
Google
you
Sheets,
get?
right, yeah.
Okay. So, because the question that I have here is where you have them doing these 3 concepts, and the goal at the end of the lesson is for them to have mastered the 3 concepts. Mm-hmm. And so then there's a part here where you talk about when the students are working with the independent, the guided practice, that you float around, you provide them feedback. So that's on your number 6. Mm-hmm. So it talks about differentiation.
Yeah, most of the time I use this, but I'm planning to explore about this one.
Mm-hmm. Because the...
And this was introduced yesterday.
Because the thing that I was curious about, so when you're floating around to provide them feedback, what does the feedback look like and what are you looking for? How do you track that information? So is there a tracking that you use?
Most of the time, like right now, I give them worksheets. Mm-hmm. And then I walk around and then check their answers, and when it's not correct, I return it to them and let them have it again.
And then what do you tell them?
It's really time consuming.
What do you tell them about it being correct or not correct?
Yeah, I told them about this one. Like for example, I want them to, the clue is they need to look for the element that belongs to group 17, period 3. Mm-hmm. And then they answered element that belongs to group 1. And then I will tell them, does this belong to group 1? Look at the element. This is the group number. This is the period number. So is this correct? Is your element correct?
Okay, so you're giving them very specific, detailed information. So the thing that I feel like...
tell them directly the answer.
Correct, which is good.
Yeah, and then what I want them to do is, sometimes I give them the periodic table, or I let them look at the periodic table and ask them questions which will guide them to the correct answer.
Okay, so the question I have with that is, have you ever considered simplifying that process by, I'm not sure what the what the worksheets.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does the worksheet look like? Because what I'm hearing is you're working on it's called active monitoring. Mm-hmm. And so typically what active monitoring looks like, yeah, so that looks like basically your kids are working small group, mm-hmm. and you're floating around with some type of a clipboard, mm-hmm. and you're checking for very specific things that you can check for quickly, mm-hmm. that give you immediate feedback on how the kids are progressing. So say that you have an equation, right? You know that the equation has maybe step 1, step 2, step 3, whatever. So when I'm floating around the first time, I'm just looking to see step 1. Have they set this equation up accurately? Meaning, have they all put down the correct things on both sides of this equation? Okay. So that's step 1.
It's like I will do the step 1, and they will have their step 1 too.
So they're just working on step 1. This is like when you're giving them independent guided practice. Okay. You're floating around and you're just taking observations to see how your kids are progressing. Okay. So you're just looking for the first one. Mm-hmm. I'm just seeing if everybody has set it up correctly. Okay. If they have, then obviously they've mastered that part. And so for each kid, I can have maybe 4 columns, and step 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So when I'm floating around, I give them check marks if they're getting it correct. If perhaps a student does not get it correct, I give them an X. Okay. Now, from this point, you evaluate how many students are getting check marks and how many are getting X's, and that is where you decide.
For each step.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. You're going to have to simplify it into something that you can check quickly, and that gives you the information you need for mastery. Mm-hmm. So like if they all set it up correctly, then that's everybody's solid on step 1. They at least know how to set it up. So that's a check mark for everyone.
Okay.
And then they're of course working. So then you float around. Check step 2 is whatever that next step is you're looking for.
Okay.
Now at any point in time.
So I'm gonna create a worksheet, like a tally sheet for that.
It would be a worksheet, and I might have. Let me see if I have an example of something that I would have done like when I was in the classroom.
Yeah, this could lessen the time.
Because what you need is the ability to check information quickly, and it needs to be precise in the way that you can tell, like right off the bat, yes, they're getting it, no, they're not. I don't have it here, but I can pull up something for you shortly. Something that I like to do is called a foursquare. And you might like this idea, you might not, but it just depends on how much you can move it into that process. So let me go look and see if I can access my information here. Because this one is kind of, it's a very dense topic. There's lots of information in it. And so breaking it down into smaller parts, I believe is going to make it more beneficial for the students and you, because it is difficult sometimes to assess mastery, especially whenever you're doing so many steps.
Yeah.
And then it is time consuming. So the goal is for you to be able to assess that in a very timely manner, but the students are still getting the information they need. So, because like I said, you have 3 components you're checking. Depending on which ones of those are new and which ones of those are review, that would help you. So at that time of the lesson, I'm not sure with the 3 things that you're teaching them, which ones of those should be considered review or not. Let's see if I have it in this drive. Let me go to shared with me. Okay. No, I don't think it's on this particular one, but I can show you an example.
Yeah.
And so essentially what the foursquare looks like, and I used to love teaching with these because they make it super easy for the students to follow along. And so it's literally 4 squares. This is typically a review. So this is where I would put like my bell ringer, something that I'm going to introduce them to that is something that should jog their memory about where we're going. So here...
of the lesson yesterday.
Okay. It could be the lesson yesterday, and it could be a quick question that you ask them of something that is guiding them towards what they're going to add to it today. So then this is where you would put your actual lesson. And again, it's short. So this is you, the I do. So this is your I do. And this is like a do now. And I can send you an example of this, like afterwards, I can find them. And then here is practice. This is the we do. So this is your practice. And this is where you are basically doing independent, or it could be group, it's up to you. Yeah. But you're allowing them that time to kind of work and you're facilitating. And this is where you're just trying to see where the kids are at. So I'm walking around, I'm checking on everybody, how they're doing. And then that lets me know, what do I need to go over? What do I need to correct? What misconceptions are they coming up with? But this is like your we do. And again, you can add a worksheet for this. It doesn't have to be on the foursquare. And then here is your exit ticket. Your exit ticket needs to be efficient into the way that you are able to float around and check for understanding within 10 minutes or less. So if your exit ticket is taking...
Can I have it in Google Sheets? Or no?
You could.
Okay.
And that would be something that, but you should also be able to get that information. And with the way that the classes are set up, it's only a 45-minute block. It's short. So your exit ticket may not be able to be gone over in that moment because you may not have time. But then that should be a follow-up for like a do now the next day, if that makes sense. Yeah. So essentially all you would be doing, like I said, lap 1, I'm checking to see, are they all on task with this? If they are, we're good. If on lap 1 you see that more than 50% of your kids are not following, then what should you do?
If they are not working?
No, like they're not getting it. Like they've not set up even the first step right. What should you do at that point?
Most of the time, I recall the lesson.
Yep. So you would bring them back whole group,
Mm-hmm.
and then you would re-explain or reteach.
Yeah, because I asked them, did you get it? No, miss. Okay, let's go back.
And then the thing to consider there is preparing for that moment.
Yeah.
If you feel like your students are going to struggle with that, what is it that you think they're going to struggle with? How are you going to address it? Because again, it's all about time. You're trying to save time here.
Yeah.
So whenever you recall them because you realize they're not getting it, more than 50% are not getting it, that's a whole group reteach, or you call them back and you go over it again. But how are you going to do that to where it's better understood? So that's things to consider when you're making those lessons. And then you release them again.
That was my problem previously. They're not getting some of my topic. It's because I don't give them notes before. And right now, I'm already giving them notes every period that I have.
So you've implemented note taking.
They have something to look at ahead of.
Okay, so that might help that. And even like whenever you're doing the independent practice, allow them to utilize the notes is beneficial too. Because again, all of the things that you're doing in class are building up to the exit ticket. That is where they actually perform without supplement, and you're trying to see what does mastery look like. But during your entire lesson, you should be taking low inference data to where you know what the exit ticket should look like. How many students do I think are going to master this? How many do I think are going to struggle? And then you should also be collecting that data. Okay? So, again, it may sound like a lot, but I can share all those resources with you, like ways that I've structured lessons to where it flows easier. And you can, it's not the same. It's 7th grade math, but you can look at it and tweak it for what you need. Okay, so that's something that I think I would consider if I were you. You have those 3 questions or those 3 things that you're looking for from step 2. And during the independent or the guided practice, how are you going to assess mastery to determine how those kids are doing before you get to the exit ticket? Okay. What else did I have on here? All students. Okay, so then here for your... So part 5, it says, so briefly describe the varied learning needs of the students in your class and how are you prepared to meet those needs. So then on this one, it says that you give them hands-on digital balancing activities to engage in different learning styles. What do the hands-on activities look like for balancing? And is that just for your students that need support, or does your whole class do that?
That's for number 6?
Yeah. So it kind of like starts on it's for 5. It starts on the bottom of this page and it flows to the top of this page. So up here, it says that you give them digital balancing activities to engage in different learning styles. What do your digital balancing activities look like?
This is my plan, but I don't have
you haven't mapped out how you're going to do it.
Activity yet. But that's my plan for that.
So then my real question is, I'm thinking because this is a lot of information that you provided, but it's a lot of things, and I don't know if it'll fit into one lesson. Do you think it'll fit into one lesson?
Supposedly this is many topics.
Correct.
It includes 4 activities like this one and this one.
So which particular activity
which
one would I be observing is the question I have for you. Because there are things that you're going to do prior to, obviously. I'm going to watch the observation. There's things that you're going to do after. So that's something to consider with your pre-conference questions. What exact lesson am I looking at, which is going to help you with filling out the lesson plan or the lesson preparations, because that's going to let me know what am I going to see in your class on this day. That's more so what I'm curious about. And then how do I support you in that lesson? What am I looking for? Things that you want me to note or whatever. So you did an entire topic, I think. Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I get the gist of it, and I'm like, it's a lot of moving parts, so you're doing a lot, but I think it's good information for sure. You've definitely mapped it out. Now it's like going back in and doing the individual lessons for each one of those 4 components. So then I think for this, my action step to you will be to plan out the individual lesson that you want me to look at. So like actually go through and then from there we will look at what the timestamps look like, how much time should be allotted for each part of that, and then how are you assessing mastery. So if you want to jot that down, your action steps are going to be to make your lesson preparation. So that's step one. So actually fill out your template based on the one lesson that I will observe.
So I'm gonna make lesson plan 1st. Okay. Yeah, this is my next plan actually.
Yes, and then step two would be time stamping the lesson plan. So make sure that you are putting in the amount of time that you want to spend on each one of those. And if you don't utilize a timer in your class right now, I would suggest utilizing a timer. Because even though you will adjust based on how the students are doing, you still need to prepare for it to fit in a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And if you're going over time, then you need to see where in your lesson are you able to pull time from, because it's still only gonna be 45 minutes. So if you spend 10 minutes on something, but you plan to spend 5 minutes on it, where are you pulling that extra 5 minutes from?
How many minutes should be a do now activity?
About 5 minutes.
5 minutes only. Okay.
Yep. About 5 minutes
Because
only.
I consume 10 minutes for that.
Yeah, so your do now should be about a 5-minute time period, and it should start when the bell rings. So even though that's going to start to create promptness in your students to get to class on time. I know it's a different world up here with high schoolers, but you just got to start establishing those expectations and those procedures and routines. They need to come in, they need to grab their materials, and they need to sit down. And the do now,
you just sit and don't do anything.
Yeah. So the do now should be posted on the board, and there should be a timer going that lets them know you only have this amount of time.
Yeah, I should put time.
Yes, definitely add timers to everything, because it gives the kids a sense of, oh, that's how much time I have, and you as well.
Okay.
So when that bell rings, get your do now up and start it. And technically, you're going to be using the 3-minute or the 5-minute. I would start it midway through the passing period. So it's going to be like 2 minutes remaining of the passing period, but then it's going to also give you about 3 minutes of your class, if that makes sense. So technically, you're taking 3 minutes of class time instead of entire 5 minutes of class time. Because most of your kids are probably getting there before the 5-minute time period that they're passing anyway. So establishing that, making them start immediately when they get in, and then that's the time for you to like check attendance and all that stuff, float around, make sure that they're getting that out, make sure that they're working on it. And then from there, you would start going over your do now. So yes, anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes, you want to be done moving on to your next task. Your direct teach, if you're doing that, probably not every day, but when you do direct teach, that is probably like a 15-minute time period. And when you're doing your direct teach, it should incorporate like whole group practice in it as well, and feedback before you release them for their independent practice. Okay, so like 15 minutes or so there, independent practice probably another 10, and then you should start moving in towards your exit ticket. So time stamping and the utilization of a timer. Those are important. And then, let's see. I see here that you have the educational games also. So again, we're going to just circle back, and when you give me the actual lesson that you want me to watch, I'll give you more feedback. Also, your exit ticket, what does that look like? So you need to definitely be purposeful in the way that you're planning the activities, because you want to gauge for understanding during the activities and how well the kids are mastering it during those activities. But then your exit ticket should be, again, something easy for you to be able to see, like, yes, they get it, no, they don't. Yeah.
So I'm planning it. I can have the balancing equation in the Google Sheets. Because I don't know. Sometimes I don't know how to, the coefficients. I don't know how to add it there.
For the Google Sheets?
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to, like, think of before.
Because they should be able, in exit ticket, they should be able to balance the unbalanced equation, since that was my objective there.
And how many of those do you think that you would give them? Like an equation for an exit ticket, 1 or 2? Probably 1. How long does it take, do you think, for each kid to show you, like, they can balance that equation? I guess it depends on how long the equation is.
This is only a simple equation.
So then it wouldn't take very long.
Yeah. Because
So
I only
like
choose
1 or
this
2.
one and this one. And this one would be very long. So I remove this one. This and this.
So then that's something else to consider. How many of those would you want to put in there? Again, you don't want it to go past that time. You want to make it to where it's pushing the students, but you also don't want them to be defeated and feel like they can't do it. But definitely put in the expectation that it is required that they do try it, you know what I mean? And then I guess the last thing would be reinforcement and refinement. So once you are able to identify, that's part 9, the components that you're looking for mastery, what that looks like, that's probably something else you should add to your list. You need to determine what mastery looks like for this and how are you going to assess it. So determine mastery and then how are you going to assess it.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna think of an activity for this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Determine mastery and
How to assess it. So then the last component would be...
This is for the independent practice.
It's for your independent practice as well as your exit ticket. When you get to the exit ticket, it should be understood like they're going to kill this. I'm going to probably have 75% that are going to do really well on this. Maybe a small group that's not. So you are definitely looking at percentages. You know, if I have 25 students, I'm looking at how many of them are actually mastering this skill. And that's where the refinement and reinforcement comes in. From moving on from this, how do I reinforce the students that are doing well with it? And how do I circle back and give refinement for those students who don't get it? So that's what you should be thinking about for each lesson. The goal is always mastery, but what do we do whenever the students don't learn it? And then what do we do when they do learn it? And you're looking at those two groups every single time. Hopefully, your reinforcement is larger, which would benefit you because then that's where you can do like an extension type of thing. Like they're doing this really well. Now that's where you can bring in like hands-on type things. Like they can do this, so let's do a lab that just reinforces what they're learning already. Or refinement. They don't get it at all. How am I going to reteach this in a way that I can help to make sure that they're going to master it? Does that make sense? Okay. So really and truly, I think we'll kind of like stop it there, and then I'll wait for you to get this to me, and we'll look at observation dates. So for this, in your scaffolding process, that should be included in your lesson preparation. How are you scaffolding throughout the lesson to make sure that when you get towards the end, the mastery is there? And that's like the gradual release part of the lesson. Okay, so let me pull up my calendar because...
Do I need to have
differentiation?
Yeah.
Well, differentiation can be done in multiple ways. It depends on what you're doing, which is why we need to see what exactly is the task that you're going to decide to do. And then how could you differentiate it? How can you level that activity? So once you start or get your lesson plan and you let me know what exactly it is that you're working on teaching, then we can discuss how to differentiate that so that it can target the different learning groups in your classroom. Okay, so my plan with your group was to have your conferences and everything submitted by the end of this month, but you want to push this one out. You said to the end of November is when you want to set up your observation.
Yeah, because as I look into the pacing calendar, it's between November 14. No, this one. Yeah, it's in this one. The end of November. Because it's Unit 5.
And then, so out of curiosity, because you said that this is an entire unit and it has prerequisites that they're doing prior, so what unit are you doing here in this month that leads to this particular lesson? That's what I'm curious about.
As I check in the overview, my topic right now, this topic belongs to Unit 5. So I'm gonna check for it first if it really at the end of the November or maybe prior to the end of the November.
Yeah, because I'm just curious if there's an actual prerequisite that introduces them to this concept.
Yeah, there is.
So then we could do that one, and then I could also follow up with you on this one as well. That's something that I'm interested. I don't know. I'm just thinking because this one is going to be something that's very extensive, but it's like later in the month or in the year, the semester. So I'm curious if we could do one of the lessons prior to this lesson, and then I could pop in for this lesson also, but it would not be your formal observation. We could do one that's sooner, that's leading to this as your formal observation.
Before this. Okay.
What do you think? Like again, you're doing this because chemistry is something that builds upon itself. So you're introducing them to the components that they're going to need.
This is like an application of my topic before this.
Right. So this is the application, and then the one that you're doing now is introducing them to this before they apply it. So the question I have for you is there a space that we could do an observation during the introduction before you get to the application? Because I could pop in at both times. But one would be your formal observation, and the other I would just come and observe the lesson to see how you're tagging it along.
Okay.
So
You
you
gotta
can think
check
about
for
that.
the topic first.
Yep. Check that out and then see if it falls into the dates more like earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would do the same process.
Mm-hmm. The same. Okay.
The same process for that particular topic.
Okay.
And then I would follow up with you with that, and I would do your observation for that one. Then you would do the same thing again for the later one, and I would come in and observe that, but that wouldn't be a formal observation. I would just sit in your class and see how it's going. Yep. Okay, so then I will send you a reminder.
So I'm gonna make 2 different lessons.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to do them anyway, right? So the first one is going to be your observation. I just want to come in to see, like, using this information that you're having here, it would be the process prior to us getting to this.
Okay.
Because I would like to observe you before you get to this. This is more of a, like you said, it's an application, but I would like to see the steps you're getting to prior to that, so that could help you with identifying the ways of the steps I gave you. So the time stamping, the action step, like the mastery, how to determine mastery, how you assess your mastery, like all those things. I would like to see that earlier in the year for you, so that I have more time to work on those components with you, if that makes sense.
Okay, man.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll send you a reminder on your email or whatever, just to like remember to send me that information on when you think there's a date prior to it. And again, you would do the lesson preparation, and then we could talk about it.
Okay. So you will be setting, or I'm gonna send you an email
letting me know. Yeah, like if there's a date that is gonna lead us into this process, that's gonna happen this month, or maybe like early November. And then from there, I can see both lessons. It'll give us the ability to compare.
Okay.
Okay? All right.